Rick, how you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, Keith. How are you?
Good, man. Missed you last weekend, man.
Uh,
Being on the slopes in Park City, and it's so
uh,
great to see you. I'm in the Bay right now.
you're on your way to the ferry building market. Now, I'm so envious, man. It's perfect. What a beautiful
Yeah,
day for a market.
I know, man. It's so great to see your smile, Rick. And I just want to, talk to you. I did a podcast a few weeks ago. It was called "A Little Help from My Friends,"
Mm,
and I was talking to my good friend Brian Hardaway just last night.
mm,
And he was on call, and he is really sharing with me how blessed he is in his life.
mm.
And he told me, he said, Keith, man, this practice that we started a year and a half ago, he's like, it is no accident that all this goodness is happening in my life now that I have really worked on self mastery. He talked about how he would come into the workplace, he would look at driving in, he'd look at his phone either the night before or the morning of as he was driving in, and he would see that he got all these patients he's got to see with little time for breaks or to take notes. And he would automatically start to feel like the energy and aliveness drain out of him because he would be identified with that narrative about what a tough day it is. And now he looks at his phone because of the practice and has created that space for him to be more present and not identify with negative narratives. They say, oh my goodness, I get to see 15 patients today. Like, I mean, like how this amazing place that we get to go into. I was telling somebody the other day, man, and that when I walk into the Mayo Clinic, I'm like, every time my badge works, man, I'm just like, oh man, they let me in. They let me in. What? Dude, I never walk in there. I never walk in any place with complaint, especially Mayo, man. I walk in there, I'm like, what? You let me in this place today? Oh my God. I get to sprinkle kindness today. I mean, every day I put my feet inside those sliding glass doors or through that automatic door, man. I am just elated, man. And that is completely a choice that the practice has helped me see. So as Brian and I were talking last night, one thing I said, and we both is just being grateful for all the goodness that we're getting. And, he was named, in one of the doctors of the year here in the Valley in Arizona. Yeah. He was on the cover of this magazine. And he's very modest, doesn't like any attention, super humble. And everybody, just really respects and adores him. That every meeting he's in, somebody's got the magazine cover up. So anyway, what I asked him, I was like, man, have you ever heard those award shows? And the title of this podcast is, just amazing connections that lift you up. Amazing connections that lift you up. And so we were talking about, I've watched these award shows, whether it's for athletics or whether it was for music or whatever the case is. If somebody gets an award and they come to the microphone on the stage and they do an acceptance speech. And at this acceptance speech, they go through and start naming people. And you start to think like, man, he had to leave he or she left this person out or that person out and stuff like this. And I thought about it, like if I had to give up and go on stage and get an acceptance speech for whatever reason, for something, and all the people that have given to me, I needed to thank.
Mhm.
Rick, there's not enough time in
Yeah.
the day, in the week, for me to name everybody who's contributed to me.
That's right.
And Rick, I mean, how much goodness I got in my life, man, and all the people that have contributed. Rick, I don't think, I don't know if a stadium is big enough to fit everybody in there, man. Dude, and you look at that, and that's a blessing, Rick. That is a
Yeah.
blessing of all the people that have contributed to you along the way, people that you don't even know in big ways, small ways, people that have thought enough to give to you. And I just couldn't name everybody, man. It's so many people over the years, from childhood to the military to ToBeRe, to Mayo. I mean, all the people that have blessed my life, man. It's like, how can I have a down day? How can I run out of things to be grateful for? I mean, it's impossible. And among that list, Rick, is you,
Mhm.
man. Brian was saying to me, with the mindset that I have and with the kind of physical shape that I'm in, he was saying, man, I hear you and Rick talk all the time on the podcast, and you're acknowledging Rick for for being your role model, and for inspiring you. And you telling Rick like he can't let up. I said, no, man, Rick is about 20 years older than I am. You wouldn't know it. And I keep saying to him, like, Rick, you do not miss one day of working out or exercise, because you are showing me what's possible. And as you get older, in terms of being healthy and fitness, and there's some things that are out of people's control, but the things that are within, the lifestyle choices and things like that, the herd thins out. The herd keeps thinning. And man, everyone's like, what are you looking at? What's your North Star? It's Rick Strong. It's my North Star, man. And so I just want to thank you from everything, man, for being a model of health and fitness and wellness, showing me what's possible, of teaching me the value and meaning of being vulnerable, especially as someone who is a male in this society. Thank you for that, and how powerful and liberating that is. And thank you for showing me the benefits of being rooted in nature, and how important it is to get leverage on my mind so that I can, do good work. And so, Rick, I mean, you're talking about a connection that has uplifted me. It's been you, man. And I just want to thank you. And I encourage the audience to reach out and acknowledge the people in their lives that have lifted them up.
Yeah, I'm speechless. I think I just watched my wake. Somebody gave me a eulogy that I don't deserve at my funeral, man. Oh, Keith, that's
celebration of life, man.
Well, so powerful, and honestly, I'm blown away. I'm a little choked up, actually. So I don't know what I can say that's other than thank you. You must remember, as I've told you countless times, when I first met you and came to be on board with ToBeRe and the physical part of life that I had neglected for so long, I was a mess. I was a borderline alcoholic. I was definitely a workaholic. I was a negative, spiteful, difficult person to deal with. I was, in other words, a typical lawyer. No, I don't mean to blaspheme my profession, but there's a lot of pressure with it, and I knew I had to change. And the reason that it worked for me was because I believed wholeheartedly in your example. There are a lot of people who have advice to give, and that's one of the reservations I have about us doing the podcast, because we're talking about things that really are sort of like giving people advice. But in order to have any credibility about giving advice, you need to see the person actually walk through his or her life and apply that very advice that they're trying to give you. And so what was incredible about the experience I had with you in ToBeRe was that I never found a person who was as committed to health and fitness as you were. And I wanted to be you. I wanted to have that in my life. And I wanted to let go of the chains, really, that were holding me back, my old narratives, my thinking about life. And what you did with ToBeRe was exceptional, because it was a combination of both the physical discipline and mental and emotional discipline. Remember, we did a lot of sharing. We did a lot of talking about how vulnerable we felt, me in particular, about I was 40 pounds, 50 pounds overweight. I wanted to take up smoking again. I was grasping for things, and I shared that. And that really helped me. We kept food journals. I never heard of thinking of looking at whatever comes into your mouth and your stomach as being something that was anything other than just what you had to do 10 times a day, right? I didn't get that connection. So my point of all of this is to say that you are an inspiration to me, because I would have probably been dead by now. I'm 73 and about to be. And I think that I wouldn't have lasted another 10 years on the track that I was in. And what kept me going was the idea that anything is possible as long as you open your heart, you're willing to be vulnerable, and you're willing to do the work. And that's what you taught me. I've never seen you not do any of those things. And I kept looking, I wanted to see you to be a fraud. I wanted to make sure that, he talks a good game, but I'm sure I'm going to catch him with a bottle of beer and a hot dog here in a minute. Never happened. So thank you for that wonderful thing. But to all the people who watch this, Keith is the real deal. And his principles, the idea of the practice, all of the things that are involved in the practice, beginning with discipline, self-mastery, leverage over negative thinking, commitment to goodness, mission, a sense of caring and support for others. That is the source and the life force behind your life that inspires me.
Wow, Rick, man. Sounds like it's my funeral.
All right, let's close it out. Go get a beer and a hot
dog. Rick, man, thank you so much, man. You know, there are just so many, you know, connections in our lives, man, that are there, and they're numerous. And what I found is that the number of connections in my life has expanded exponentially since the practice.
Yeah.
Now, they were there before, but because, you know, somehow they had to, like, you know, make it through that bear trap of my negativity and my judgment and my complaining. You know, people had to get through that for me to make it into my connections that uplift me. So there were a lot of those that got caught in my net of judgment and the self-sabotage that I didn't let through, unfortunately. And now with the practice, man, you know, the dam has been broken, the water is flowing through, man. And I just see a friend in everybody, man. And they may not see a friend in me, and that's cool. That's their path. But the way that I'm going to treat them is going to be as a friend with love and compassion. And it's amazing, man. You know, I think Wayne Dyer said, you know, the world is different when you're different. And so,
that's right.
And that's how I feel. You know, I'm such a much more of a different person now. And these connections, man, I did a very poor job before the practice of nurturing connections. And I know there are people that have friends, you know, from childhood. You know, what I can say about the kind of friends that I have now are I have not any of my close friends, not one, will allow me to play small. And when I say play small, not play small, you know, regarding my career goals and aspirations, you know, that's a relative importance. I mean, play small in that I am not being my highest self. I'm not leading a conscious, loving life. I mean, my friends won't let me talk negatively about others. They won't let me bash other people. They won't let me judge. They're like, no, man, that's the base, you know, instincts. That's the default settings. We're up here, you know, not superior, but you're going to miss out on life when you are operating from your default settings. And that's the one thing I can say, man, is like, I'm not missing out on life. I'm not one day somebody does something. I'm like, I'm not getting bothered over that because I'm not getting this moment back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting this moment back. So I am not going to do that. Somebody says something. If I feel like I can't handle it, I'm on the phone to you, John DeCuna, Pete, Brian, Tim. I'm on the phone to one of you guys to like bring me like, Keith, man, hang on for a second. This is a precious moment right here. This is precious. You want to trade this in over something that someone says, or over this? No, man, no, come back, get back on the path. And you guys, man, you come and you get me back on the path, man. And so I've really made it a priority to nurture those connections like I've never done before. And so, like I said, a lot of people have friends that they've had their whole lives. The friends that I have, man, are friends that do nothing but lift me up. And when I say lift me up, not pick me down and give me, you know, cover when I'm acting, you know, poorly. No, you pick me up and you get me back on the path so that I can be my best self, so that I don't miss out on one moment of this amazing thing that we have called life. So, Rick, I just want to thank you. And, you know, the kind of friend that you are to me, I commit to always being that friend to you.
Thank you, Keith. And hoops of steel, brother, from my end to yours. You know, we're bound by hoops of steel. All the guys that we're dealing with in our lives that are close to us, that we've worked hard to maintain relationships with, who have supported us and we've supported them. That is such pure gold. Yeah, you know, it's like family. I guess it's the same feeling that people have in close-knit families, that there is nothing that you can do that wouldn't be something that another could help you with in our group. And to have that kind of backup, that bench that's willing to go to bat for you, man, that's empowering. It really
It
is.
is, man. It so is, and I'll close with this, you know, like when we see each other, it's so common to be around us, you, Brian, Pete, Tim, Rick, Matt and Billy, and it's so many, and we're always like, I love you, man, or I love you. And it's not this awkward communication, or it comes from such a place of just being open, and I think for people for the first time that hear another guy tell someone they love them who they're not related to, they're like, they don't know what to do with that, man. Here's the thing. It's nothing to do with it.
Don't do anything.
Just let the love in. Just let it in, man. And it's just really a beautiful thing, man. And so I just really have some amazing relationships, regardless of gender identity, sexual orientation, race, religion,
Political views.
Oh, man, none of that matters, man.
Does not matter.
I'm not getting twisted in that. And so thank you, Rick, for partnering with me on a connection that is uplifting.
Thank you for showing me the way, brother.
You're welcome, Rick. Thank you, man.
Adios.
I love you.
I love you.